interactive story genre is huge on iOS, and now we have a new entry, Lone Wolf. Let's see how Lone Wolf compares to the other titles, and if it's more than what we're used to in terms of interactive fiction. The game starts out with you creating a character through some broad strokes. First, you decide which of the major personalities you're going to have, whether you're going to be aggressive, passive, or magical, and then there are special abilities and weapons you can choose from. So you can kind of choose your weapon speciality, as well as other special abilities which will help you in the game and allow you to overcome certain problems with different solutions. Is that things aren't so cut and dry as some other interactive fiction stories. Yes, you'll have different abilities and different builds, but each situation has different ways to solve it and different ways that you can overcome it. So having a mixed set of abilities is great, and you won't ever feel like you just picked the wrong thing. The basic gameplay may feel familiar to you. In the game, you will be reading through a story and making different decisions. There are also these really cool, almost cutscene type pages in the book that bring illustrations to life. As you read through, there'll be different sections where you can make choices, as well as a world map that you can move along when you're prompted to. So a button like this will appear, telling you to take some sort of action. It may be a decision, it could be a treasure chest, could be even combat. And the game will walk you through each of these steps when you first encounter them. The aesthetic with kind of pages come alive is very interesting and very well done. I really applaud the art style here. What's so cool is that all this art style exists and then is complemented by 3D combat, which we'll check out right now. So you probably already knew this about Lone Wolf, but it features turn-based 3-dimensional combat, kind of like a classic JRPG. One of the cool parts about the combat, not just the graphics itself, but kind of the way things work. There's no traditional menu. You just click the part of the body of your hero to use different types of abilities. I thought this was a really nice touch. It really shows that the designers were looking to streamline and really fit the platform with their design. Combat mixes in QuickTime events, which are really necessary to really do well in battle. If you fail several QuickTime events, battles are going to be much more difficult than they otherwise would have been. There are lots of options in combat. You can use magic spells, you can use the throwing daggers, and you can use your basic attacks. The enemies themselves are fairly smart and will continue to relentlessly attack you and also drink potions when they're low on health, making it even more challenging to pass some of these battles. The battles themselves can be fairly simplistic, and this is not the deepest JRPG type system. However, I think that just shows that the designers were really trying to balance the story gameplay with the combat rather than putting too much attention on the combat itself. The writing is fairly well done, but it's important to note that this game really is an RPG. You have a full inventory, you have upgrades to weapons and armor that you can do. All of this really shows that you're not just reading through a story, but you really are creating a character. This is probably more than any other interactive fiction currently on the platform, is really RPG focused. You are building a character, you are leveling up, you're getting new items. All of these are really important to the gameplay. The feature of the game is chest unlocking. It's another sort of mini game that you can participate in where you attempt to pick locks. This is really interesting. It reminds me of something like Skyrim, though here it's definitely more tactile since you're using both your fingers to touch the screen and try to unlock a chest. It turns out Lone Wolf is maybe not the game we'd always cover here on Board Game Geek. It definitely is interactive fiction, but has a lot more RPG in its heart than we're generally used to. Because of this, sometimes the story can take a back seat to the action and RPG gameplay. There definitely is story to read and choices to be made, but again, a lot of things will come down to combat, and your skills in combat doing the QuickTime events and planning your moves correctly will decide if you succeed or fail in this game. So it is definitely a far toss from Tin Man Games series as well as Sorcery, but there definitely is a lot going on here, and it's an interesting, unique experience that takes full advantage of the platform it's on. While challenging, the combat does feel streamlined and seamless. By just clicking on the actions you want to take, and rather than slogging through menus, it definitely brings a new, polished feeling to this sort of combat. I have to admit, I started out not really liking Lone Wolf. I felt like it was kind of a bland JRPG, and in some terms the combats can be fairly bland. However, as you learn more, they can get more interesting and less drawn out, and you can start to succeed more often. All in all, I think Lone Wolf is worth playing because it's an interesting combination of genres on iPad. It definitely is a unique experience and something that probably could only happen on this platform. So while it is not a perfect game, I definitely recommend checking it out.